Welcome back, part 2 of this interview with Dan and McCaulay. Dan, you mentioned that you became a secretary when you left St. Andrew. Perhaps you could give us some more information regarding your career, what you did, and which university you went to after leaving St. Andrew.
Okay, so I'll say I left St. Andrew and went to A-level college in Oxford, in England, because my parents decided I was too young. And I said I was a little younger than others. They decided I was too young to go straight into university. So I went to this A-level college to sit the one A-level I failed, which was history, and to take more A-levels. And I really missed Jamaica so much that I came home without finishing the year. And I remember my dad called me and said, okay, what's the plan, because you need to, if you're not going to go to school, you have to get a job. And I went and I learned shorthand and typing, which I greatly resented. I really didn't want to do any such thing. I thought it would end up my being a secretary, which in fact is what happened. But now I'm so grateful because I'm a very skilled typist, and of course in today's, I'm very fast on a computer, and that's been a great benefit. So I got a job I wanted to travel, so I got a job at a travel agency, and I was a secretary at a travel agency, and that did give me the opportunity to see other countries, because in those days you used to get really cheap tickets, if you worked in the travel industry. And then, because I loved horses and I had ridden as a child, I then ran a riding school for children. And after that I decided, so this is maybe 10 years after leaving school, I decided to go back to university. So I went to the UA here to do management studies in my 30s. So my son tells me I've lived my life backwards. So that's where I have my first degree, my bachelor's degrees from UA. And then I have a master's degree that I got only 10 years ago when I was almost 50. So I didn't go to school, I didn't do my tertiary education right after leaving St. Andrews. And in a way, I actually think that was a benefit, because I think I was old enough for both degrees to really appreciate them and to really get the most out of them. How did I get into the environment? It was an accident, really. As I say, I loved the outdoors, and I had a kind of outdoorsy upbringing, and took a house guest to the Palisades to watch the sunset. My parents used to take me there as a child, and it had become an illegal garbage dump. And I was ashamed, I suddenly saw this place through his eyes, this visitor. And you know how in Jamaica you say somebody should do something about this, and I just decided it should be me. And I didn't know anything about the environment. But I guess part of what my education gave me was a sense of empowerment. So I felt like even though I didn't know anything about it, I could learn and I could act. And that is a very valuable gift, because your formal education doesn't necessarily give you every bit of knowledge that you need. But if you think you can acquire it, then that is so important. So eventually I, formed the Jamaica Environment Trust with a group of others, and eventually left my job. I was by then working in the insurance industry, which was sort of an accident. I did not sit down when I was 16 at St. Andrew and say, look, I want to be an insurance executive, I didn't. Then I really felt, being an advocate for Jamaica's environment was a calling, was a vocation. I've been doing that ever since. JET was formed in 1991, so I've been doing it for 20-odd years, 21 years.
So how is the organization doing now? You have a lot of plans. I know there are lots of frustrations with the authorities.
Yeah.
I hear you on radio, I see you on television.
There are two different things. One is a difficulty of building an organization. So building a non-profit agency that's going to persist over time. And that's been hard, but I'm proud of how far we've come, and that we're still around after 21 years and, reasonably well organized with full-time staff and so forth. In terms of changing hearts and minds about the environment, I have to say that's not such a happy picture. But I think it is important to stand up for what you believe in, even if it's unpopular, even if people frame it in a way that you don't agree with. And I'm proud that I've done that.
Well, I'd like to encourage you, and don't be disheartened. Your rewards will come later. For instance, I saw the bins at St. Andrew High School, the recycling bins. That was something that we never had when I was a student. So I'm almost certain that you have are responsible for this being placed in the school?
I'm not sure I can claim responsibility, but I will say that I've been back to St. Andrew many times to talk to students about the environment. And in fact, I've had eventual staff members who were at school here come to me after they graduated and say they remembered my talk and they now want a job, you know. And I can remember one in particular who did get a job and worked with us for 5 or 6 years, and she's now a lecturer at UTEC. So she was an Andrews girl. And so you know, sometimes you don't know fully the influences you have. You know, you stand up in front of a group of students, you speak. You know, there's 100 people in the room. You don't know really what fertile ground your words are finding. So I'd say I'm part of the foundation work.
You planted that seed.
I planted a seed.
Definitely. Would you like to tell us about your involvement in the cleaning up of the beaches in Jamaica?
Well, because of that first experience on the beach at Palisadoes and it being, you know, so dirty, I learned about initiatives in other countries to clean beaches where volunteers would be brought together and they would go and clean the beaches, and actually not just clean the beaches but record what they picked up. And I discovered that this was a worldwide movement, and so started organising these cleanups, which have taken place at Palisadoes for a good chunk of the time. Of course now Palisadoes beach is kind of lost, so we've been doing it further down the strip, and it's been one of our very successful projects in the sense that it's grown every year, and often it's mostly attended by young people, and often it's the first time they confront what happens to something that is carelessly discarded somewhere else. You know, it ends up in the sea, and so from that point of view I think it's very successful. But on the other hand, I have to say the beaches are just as dirty every year.
Yeah.
So to some degree we're not fully getting the message across to change behaviour the way we need to.
Do you think that those persons who have helped to clean up the beach, that they will go and tell other individuals about the importance of not throwing their garbage any and everywhere, and that it really should be put in particular places?
I've learned that education is a necessary but not sufficient condition. So there are some people who you educate and they absorb the information. It doesn't necessarily translate into behaviour change, and it certainly doesn't necessarily translate into them telling others. And then there are some people who, once they receive the information, they do change behaviour, and then there's a third set who not only change their own behaviour but seek to change the behaviour of others. Those would be the minority.
Okay. Next, I'd like you to tell us about your writings.
Okay.